How exciting it is to be back in Hyphens Haven, the space for multi-hyphenate artists who work on stage and off, in front of the camera and behind the scenes. We share our paths to becoming who we are. We spotlight today's episode on an actress and acting coach with over 20 years of experience in the industry. She has appeared in a variety of film and television productions, with some of her credits including Fox TV's The Resident, Marvel's Cloak and Dagger, stars P-Valley, Black Mafia Family, and films like The Accountant, The Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat, Creed, and more. She is so masterful at her craft that a Lego has been created out of her character on Gotham Knights on the CW network. Additionally, she owns Jersey Girl Sports, a multimedia lifestyle brand for women like myself who love sports. So I am so happy and thrilled to introduce the multi-hyphenate artist, Angela Michelle Davis. Hi, Angela.
Hey, how are you?
I am well today. So as we want the audience to get to know who you are and the journey that you're on, we always begin at your foundation. So could you share with us your parents or those you were raised by and their names and professions, and where are you from? It's a loaded question.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I was born and raised in Rochester, New York. So the first half of my life, and I'm going to say till about 12 or so, I grew up in Rochester with my mom and my dad and my sister. I spent a lot of time growing up with my paternal grandmother and grandparents and great grandparents because they were in Rochester. So weekends were with my grands and great grands. When my parents split, we moved to Minnesota. So Minnesota. My aunt was working for Ford. And so we moved with my aunt to Minnesota, and which is where I ended up graduating. So junior high and high school were in Minnesota. And that's where I graduated high school and then went on to college from there.
Wow, that is a journey in your early days. Was there a particular childhood memory that you recall that was just so impactful and helped you in the direction you're going?
Oh yeah. I would say that I've always been a performer, right? So, I was the child who was excited about the Easter speech. I was ready. Easter Sunday, let's get these speeches together. Let's go. And in fact, if you didn't want to say yours, I would say your speech for you. Let's go. I was excited to be in front of a crowd. Like that was a thing for me. I remember I was in Brownies, and if you were a Girl Scout, Brownies is sort of like the precursor to becoming an official Girl Scout. So the Brownies were putting on this play, and it was Little Red Riding Hood. And of course, I wanted to be Little Red Riding Hood. Of course, she's the lead in the play. But they cast a type. So blonde-haired, I can't remember her name, got the role, and I was upset. I was bothered because I was like, I'm Little Red Riding Hood. Like, what's up? And my mom said to me, you can be, I got cast as one of the trees in the haunted forest. And I was like, I don't want to be no tree. I mean, at least make me the wolf or somebody. Like, what is happening? So my mom said, you can be the best tree that ever was in a haunted forest, and you can make it work. So I was a very literal child, meaning that whatever you told me, I believed to be true, particularly from my parents, from my teachers. If you told me I could do it, I believed I could. So I went and got a black garbage bag, and I went outside and I gathered all of these leaves and sticks and stuff because I needed to decorate the tree. I'm the tree, and I was going to be in this black garbage bag. And I got glue and I put all these leaves on my plastic bag, and I cut my arms out. So I was the tree, and I had leaves and stuff. And then I had on a brown leotard. And the night of the show, when it said that Little Red Riding Hood was on her way to grandma's house, walking through the haunted forest, they had sound effects for wind. So I started moving and arms going. And I remember the crowd going crazy. They were laughing, they were carrying on. I remember my mom just looking at me like, Lord have mercy. Like, that's my child. Like, here we, because they said the wind blew, the trees got to be moving. So I was moving. And I remember that I must have been 6 years old, maybe 7. I remember that so poignantly. It has left that big of an impression. It's left an indelible impression in my life. And I knew then that I was going to be somebody who wanted to perform.
And that's excellent that you learned at an early age that just speaking with words was not the only way to express of that. Movement was so critical to a performance too. And you learned that from 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And you mentioned teachers, and I always like to give a shout out to teachers who've made an impact on your life. Do you recall from your elementary or your middle school?
Yes.
Yeah, shout them out.
Yes. So my 4th grade teacher, her name is Mary Lou Frank. She lives in Rochester, New York. We still keep in touch. I call her my Mamma Mia. She is this small Italian woman, and she is feisty and fierce. And she sparked all things creative for me. And she pushed me into this group. It was called the Black Seeds at this elementary school. And they were a performance group at my elementary school. And she was like, you're going to do it. She was like, you belong here. I remember that. And she was just amazing and brilliant. And we are still very, very close. I talk to her regularly, and her son and her family and his kids. I mean, we are like 2 peas in a pod. Like, she is still very, very important in my life. Mary Lou Frank, I will never forget it. I'll never forget her.
Wonderful. And what about your middle school or high school years? Because I note I'm seeing now you're stacking those experiences on top of each other, beginning even as you performing as this haunted tree. So are there moments from your middle school and high school years that have really left an indelible mark on you?
I was always in plays, always in the drama club. I mean, I'm 5'10", so they initially sort of moved me to basketball. And I remember I played basketball for 1 year, and I was like, this running up and down the court with a bunch of sweaty girls is not it. This is not the business. I will play it one, but on a stage, not on a court. So I did basketball for 1 season. That was a no. And I think I tried my hand at track and field, which I actually did enjoy, but I have always leaned to being a performer, to being a performance artist. And so drama club, choir was it. And I had some really good drama teachers and choir directors in high school that were great. And so, yeah, I stayed with it all the way through.
Okay. And in your high school years, what type of student were you? Because I know that there are students who are listening. Were you the type of student who worked, or you balanced your academics and your artistic time? So,
I mean, at our high school, I went to Sibley High School in Mendota Heights in Minnesota. And the people who were in drama and choir, I mean, it was serious. I mean, we were kids who were all about, our performance and the arts, In fact, one of my high school classmates, Jenna Bands, is an executive producer. She worked with Shonda Rhimes. She was one of the executive producers and writers for Scandal. I mean, we were very serious about writing and our skill sets. And I was able to balance that. I mean, I was a good student. I made good grades.
And being that you made good grades, I'm sure that helped you transition towards your collegiate years. Can you share what college you went to and what did you see?
Yes, with your HBCU shirt on, I'm going to shout out the Grambling State University, home of the world's famed Tiger Marching Band. And of course, the winningest coach in college football history, the late, great Eddie Robinson. So Grambling was kind of a culture shock coming from Minnesota, which was extremely predominantly white. And my 2 best friends from high school, Heather and Joy, all of us went to HBCU. So Joy went to Howard, Heather went to Hampton, I went to Grambling. And I remember walking on campus for the first time during freshman orientation week at 5 o'clock in the 90s. And if you know any HBCU in the 90s, 5 o'clock was prime time. It was live at 5, and the campus was swole, as we would say. And they would call it lit now, but the campus was off the charts. Everybody was out. The girls looked good. I mean, we would go back to and shower and change before dinner, before you went out and walked the yard at 5 o'clock, because you had to look good. And I remember in this very rural town, because Grambling is set in the city of Grambling in northern Louisiana. And I was like, this ain't gonna, no. I remember coming up over the hills on R.W.E. Jones Drive, and I was like, absolutely not. This is no, absolutely not. Like, I'm transferring. I'm going to Howard. I'm going to meet Heather at Hampton. Like, this isn't it. But baby, let me tell you something. I rounded that corner in front of the cab, and I said, oh, yeah. Oh, see you at Christmas, Mom. See you at Christmas break. See ya. Bye. I was good. So it was absolutely the best experience, and absolutely the one of the most important decisions I've ever made in my life as an adult. And I am, if I could go back and do anything over again, it would be college. I would start back day one as a freshman. It was that much fun. It was that impactful to my life. It was that amazing in terms of shaping who I am.
Excellent. And for your collegiate years, was there a standout moment that you were able to really showcase the talent that you have and pushed you even further into your career?
You know, it's interesting because I didn't pursue it as hard undergrad. Which is interesting. I did do plays. I mean, there was a drama club, the Floyd L. Sandal Theater Drama Club, and I participated in plays, and I did do that in college, but I didn't pursue it literally until like my last semester, my senior year. Procter and Gamble was doing a commercial. I think it was for Tampax, but it was featuring the Orchesis dance team, our dancers, and they were the spotlight for the commercial. And so they were asking students to come out and be extras. And so I was selected to be an extra. And I remember I got paid, and I was like watching the commercial being filmed. And I was like, yeah, this is it. Because I mean, this happened in April. I graduated in May. Like, it was late. And I said, I was deciding I was going to be Atlanta, Dallas, or Charlotte. Those are the 3 cities I was thinking of moving to. And I said, after graduation, wherever I move to, I'm pursuing acting.
And what pushed you towards one of those 3 cities that you just named?
Well, because Louisiana is, next door to Texas, a huge amount of alumni are in Dallas and in Houston area. So I kind of wanted to be in a city that I didn't know a whole lot of people, where I could start over and kind of, really kind of push my life forward as a young woman on my own and really kind of do that. So Atlanta was, because it's Atlanta. I mean, it's Atlanta, it's Black excellence all over the place. So that was one. I had family here, so that was good. So I did have a support system of family. And my best friend, Heather, had moved here after she graduated from Hampton. So she was already here. And I said, okay, Atlanta.
Okay, so being in Atlanta, and you have made the decision that I am going to move forward and pursue working in the industry. What was that first role that helped you get your foot in the door?
Yeah. So, at that time, and this is like 99, 2000, and I started working in corporate America, and I started taking acting classes. But, that was before there was a big boom here, right? Atlanta wasn't Hollywood of the South, and it wasn't any of this stuff that it is now. So I started taking classes and started networking, and eventually was able to get an agent, and I started auditioning. And the first sitcom, I take that back. The first sitcom that I booked was House of Pain. It was the first sitcom I ever booked. I remember going to the old Tyler Perry studios. I remember auditioning. I don't think a lot of people know or may not even remember that he started down sort of downtown Inman Park area. He used to have offices there. And that's, remember, where we would go to do our in-person auditions there before he got the old Delta.
That was
yeah.
uh-huh.
Yeah. So we went down there, did my audition. And then I remember I had auditioned for him several times. And by the time I auditioned for House of Pain, he had the Delta, the old Delta headquarters location. And I remember auditioning, doing the audition and booking it like on the spot. And I was really, really excited about it. And I was like, okay, this is it. And I remember being so, excited about the opportunity and what the opportunity represented for me as an actor. And then shortly after that, I ended up booking Drop Dead Diva. And then it just kind of, it took off. Atlanta was not big even then, even with Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry really was kind of put Atlanta on the map for drama series and episodics. I mean, Atlanta had stuff from back in the day. But in terms of being like modern, present day in the early 2000s, Atlanta wasn't like really being talked about. So what actors would do was like, hey, you would get your SAG eligibility and then you would have to move to LA or New York. And that's what a lot of actors did. And I just stayed. I had a great job working in corporate America. I was working from home. I could set my own hours. So it allowed me to go to classes. It allowed me to audition. And I just didn't want to give up that freedom. And then by the time I decided, you know what, I'm going to have to move to LA, the industry exploded. And then
you in Atlanta.
Yeah, the industry exploded in Atlanta and it was full steam ahead.
How long after landing Drop Dead Diva and you were still working in corporate America? So how long did you continue working in corporate America before you said, you know what, I need to consider changing and go full time?
Yeah. So I started teaching in 2007, 2008. I started teaching actors, and I was working at a studio, but still not really making enough to leave a job. I mean, because, when you talk about stepping away from your 9 to 5, you're talking about being solely dependent in an industry that is not dependable, right? There's no guarantee about anything in TV and film. You're not guaranteed another role. You're not guaranteed to book the next thing that you audition for. So making that move needs to be a move of faith, but it also needs to be a move based on understanding the business, doing some things smart in terms of your finances and understanding where you are so that you're not stressed. I worked for a company for 10 years. I got laid off. I then worked for a number of different companies. I worked for Norfolk Southern for a year. Worked for them for a year. And then I worked for Apple. And I worked for Apple for 3 and a half years. And in 2016, I walked away from everything to become an actor full time. And I did that because of voiceover. I got into voiceover and my voiceover career took off. It was amazing. And I was able to have consistent work. And so, 2016.
Were you required to get a voiceover agent separate from your your acting agent?
No, fortunately, my agency, Atlanta Models and Talent, is a full service agency. So they do TV, film, commercials, print, industrials, and voiceover. So they run the gamut. So no, I did not have to get a separate agency.
Okay. And would you describe what's your process of work? So let's say that you have been called, you have said yes to this voiceover, everything is a go, the paperwork is signed. What is your process of working as a voiceover artist? And then we'll get to your process of acting, because those are
sure. So
yeah.
Voiceover, I work through my agent and I work independently. So there's sort of two arms that are always kind of moving at the same time. So independently, there are voice databases. Voice123 and voices.com are the two major ones. And what those are is a database that you log into. You can kind of create an account, you log into, and you can see jobs that are available for you to audition for. So if a small to mid-sized company says, hey, I'm looking for somebody to do the voice for our next training videos, right? We are for example, I've done videos for a company that trains estheticians about how to apply lashes to women. And they say, hey, we're looking for somebody to do this. It's these number of videos. Can you do an audition? And then we come to an agreement on terms and the pricing, right? So there's that avenue that I get on my own. The bigger things, the bigger projects that I have booked, Target, Credit Karma, Peloton, those are all through agencies, because those bigger companies, the Fortune 500s, hire ad agencies, and they go out and use casting directors to reach out to talent through their representatives, through agents. So I kind of get two arms working at the same time in voiceover.
And so switching to acting, what's a day in the life of Angela when she's called to set? What is that process for you to help you get into your role?
Ooh, cha. So so I'll lead with Gotham Knights, because that's what I'm on currently. So when I got called to audition, and this is typically for any role, you'll get an email from your agent saying, hey, you've been invited to audition for XYZ project. We go to Actors Access. That is the general database that most casting directors use in the US for talent. And the reps are signed up there. So I go to the link, I open it up, and I look at all the details of the project. I can see the character, how much they want to pay, if it's a union project, the shoot dates, if there are any callbacks. And then it gives me information about the character, the storyline, the producers, writers, and if this is a film or if it's a series, if they've already hired the series regulars or the leads for a film or the series regulars for a show. I can see who's already cast for these projects. And then I get to decide if it's something that I want to do. If it's something that I want to do, I'll download the sides and do my audition via self-tape and upload it to the database for my agent to submit to casting. If I book, right, once we find out that production, a director has said, or producers have said, yes, we want Angela, then they reach back out to my agent to negotiate terms of the deal. And this is really important because, and I'll say this, not all agencies are created equal. And what I mean by that is that you want to make sure that you have representation that can act in your best interest. And what that means is that they are knowledgeable about the business of show, because this is more business than show. And you need to make sure that the people that you are working with to be your representatives are going to negotiate money, deals, and the things for you that are going to be in your best interest. So I'm lucky that I have Atlanta Models and Talent. Jason Lockhart is the president and head of TV and film. And he, along with Kelly Neiman and Madison Junod, are the TV and film team that are just phenomenal. And so they negotiated a deal that worked for me, and I booked. From there, you get shoot dates. Once the deal is set, you don't really hear from your agent anymore. The people that you're actually connected with and talking to is like the second AD. The second AD is going to be your point person, like, hey, these are your upcoming shoot dates. And then you'll get a call from wardrobe and hair and makeup that says, hey, we need to come in and do a fitting. We're going to schedule your fitting, send us your sizes. Let's just confirm. And then you move from there. Once that's done, the rest is play. You know, our auditioning is the hard part. Booking is play. So you get to set, and you usually, once you get to your trailer, you go directly to hair and makeup and get ready for the day. So yeah.
On journey. So are there particular tools that you need that help you allow yourself to be a vessel to this character?
You know, with any character, and this is when, you know, good training is everything, is that you want to make sure that you really understand what the writer is trying to get your character to communicate through the story being told, right? Because all characters have a role to play in helping to tell the story. And when you are looking at a script, the job of the actor is to see what's not written, right? Because what writers do is provide dialogue, the story's being told through words, but the life of the character comes through the actor. So while you know what words you speak, and even maybe the direction or tone of the scene, you're angry, you're upset, you're embarrassed, you're in love, you're forgiving, you're sad, you're happy, you're joyful, whatever, how that shows up is what acting is. It's not in the what, because the what, the who, the where, and even sometimes the why are provided in the script. It's the how that is the actor's playground, and how the character shows up, how I show those emotions, how I show connection and understand relationship is all what I am required to do, and what I'm responsible for. So for me, script analysis is everything. When I get a character, I really want to make sure that I understand what the writer is intending to be shown through this character to help tell the story.
Awesome. And as I mentioned, she is masterful at her craft. And so has her own acting studio. Would you share with us your process to creating a space for actors to learn this skill of acting?
Yeah, you know, the Actor Studios, ACTHER, it's sort of a play on the word. Actor Studios is really me in service to other actors, to other creatives, to other storytellers. And the studio was actually forced on me.
Really?
I was working at another studio, and unfortunately, there were those at the studio who were not happy with my popularity as an acting coach. And I was told to calm down, to simmer down, to find my place and know it. And I was told that I needed to learn my place. And, you know, it's interesting because sometimes, and let me say this, you know, some people may not be spiritual, but I'm a spiritual person. And God had been telling me that it was going to be time for me to move for a while. I was not listening. And one of the things that I have learned about myself is that I'm a loyalist, sometimes to a fault. Loyalist meaning that I will sometimes support and stick with things that aren't loyal and supportive to me. Even if they're not good, I'm a loyalist. If I consider you somebody that I find friendly and you're my friend, I'm going to stay with you, even if you aren't showing yourself to be worthy of that. And so God set up a scene, a scenario for me to be able to fully see what was in front of me so that I could go. And I left. And 2 days after I left, I officially started, which was in February of 2020. Let me tell you how God works. So 4 weeks before the world shut down, I started Actor Studios. Had no idea. None of us knew that the pandemic was coming. I started Actor Studios. My first class, I had 2 people. By the pandemic, I was teaching 4 classes a week. All of them were full in 30 days. And I was growing so fast, and I'm still turning people away. And the pandemic turned out to be so fortuitous and such a serendipitous event for me to be able to hone my craft and actually reach more people. So Actor Studios is really a place of service where we provide coaching and training for those who want to be actors in TV and film and in commercials and voiceover. But it really is a place for people to be in service of the gifts and skills and of the craft. Because if you've been blessed with the desire to be an actor, if you've been blessed with the skill, actor is a place where we are in service to that gift. And it's not a role that I take lightly.
Amazing. Actor Studios. And yes, God does work in those ways to show us like, hey,
yeah,
ma'am, it's time to go. So
yeah.
thank God, things worked in the way that they did to have you set up to be able to reach a population of people who need you. So thank God that you answered that call. So what is your goal professionally? Because you're working as a voiceover artist and as an actor of film and TV, and you have a studio that is running. So what is your ultimate goal?
I think like any actor, if you had asked me like 10 years ago, I would have said, I want an Academy Award, I want an Oscar, I want a Golden Globe and a SAG Award, and I want all of these things. And I think those accolades are great. And those are things that I absolutely still strive toward. But I think I'm moving into a place where I want the work that I do to be impactful in a way that transcends time. And I also want to be the curator of stories that absolutely and desperately need to be told. So I've actually started doing some writing this year, dibbing and dabbing in writing and in producing. I definitely want to continue to be an actress. I think it's such a blessing and an honor. I've got my short list of people that I want to work with. But I am really, really excited about being able to take the skill that I have and being able to apply it to some stories that I think that need to be told.
And you mentioned the artists that you have written down. Would you mind sharing? We love to put things in the atmosphere. Like, I want to work with this artist and that artist. Just share with us some names.
Yes. So I'm here for Viola because I need it in my life. I'm here for Viola Davis. I absolutely want to work with Regina King. I just think she is just stellar. I've worked with Tina Mabry last year, which was great. She's phenomenal. And Gina Prince Bythewood twice, which was phenomenal. I want to, of course, I want to work with Denzel. I want to work with Forrest Whitaker. I absolutely want to work with Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep. I love Gail Bean and Damson Idris. It's almost too many to name. I love Bokeem Woodbine, and I mean all of these artists people we see every day who are just stellar in their work. They just show up, and I'm like, what is happening? A Swarm lead. Dominique
Fishback.
Yeah, Dominique Fishback. Are you kidding me? Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The first time I ever saw her in that film with Jamie Foxx, Powers, I was like, what is happening on my TV screen? Who is this? Because this chick is ridiculous. I absolutely want to work with her. Almost too many to name, but yeah, these are my short list.
Yes. And as we prepare ourselves, because they are coming.
Yes, they are coming.
They are coming to work with these artists.
And
has
let me say this, it will be their pleasure to work with me.
Yes, yes. And
Well.
what I know about you is all facts, what you just said. I would be remiss to mention that I am connected to this amazing young woman through our church, Antioch Baptist North in Atlanta, Georgia, as well as our sorority, which is Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So I just wanted that we mentioned that. So yeah, as we prepare you, and I look forward to seeing your work with these artists, has there been a project that has been challenging, but you saw yourself through, and it just means that that challenge will push you to that ultimate level of working with these artists? What project was that?
I don't know that I've had a project yet, and I'm running through my mind about the projects that I've been on, that was a challenge for me in terms of the work. I can tell you that there have been projects that have reminded me of the importance of the work that we do. Women of the Movement, the TV show with Gina Prince Bythewood, was amazing. I loved it. It was impactful. And of course, it tells the story of Emmett Till, right? And maybe Till Mobley's fight for justice. It was phenomenal. The work that I did this past year with the Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat was the most fun, amazing. I didn't want to leave set. I wanted to be like, could you write me in another scene? Can I be an extra in the next scene? No, Angela, you cannot be. Go away. So it was just phenomenal. Tina Mabry was just a phenomenal director. And I loved every minute that I was on set. Every minute, every second, every minute. And I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave. It was amazing.
Well, more projects will be arriving soon, and you'll be was that shortly. But this next section is just more of a quick response. Well, some of them are quick response, but allows us to get to know you as an individual even more. So I'll ask these questions, and you can just share with us your answer. Okay, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, dogs or cats?
Cats.
Window or aisle seat?
Window. Got to sleep.
Yes. What book would you give as a gift?
Viola Davis's memoir.
What movie can you not resist watching if it came on right now?
A Soldier Story.
What is your favorite recipe to cook?
Anything seafood, lobster, shrimp, anything seafood.
Okay. What makes you laugh the most?
Watching people in their element who don't know they're being watched.
Right. I know that. Yes.
People dancing, people just having a good time. The best. I love it.
What would be your theme song or entrance song if you enter a room? How would that music announce who you are?
The Gap Band, Outstanding. I've been dancing to that since I was 3 years old. Outstanding. Absolutely.
And you live up to it too, Soror. If you choose one superpower, what would it be?
The ability to soften the heart of people.
Mm-hmm. And with this superpower to soften the heart of people, who are your arch nemesis? Who is against that power?
Ignorance, people who are stubborn, people who refuse to listen, people who are stagnant and steadfast in their inability to move or to be open to change.
Mm-hmm. Who is your favorite person to follow on social media?
So I've got a couple. So there's this dog that is always typing and talking about things in corporate America. And I'm not in corporate America, but it's hilarious. I love the videos and things that Viola Davis has shared. She shares quite a bit. I love it.
I follow her too. Yes, I love her page. If there was one thing you could change about yourself, what would it be?
Girl, can I lose weight easier? Could I just, please, Lord, can we just,
it goes
my
away.
Superpower should have been a higher metabolism. I could just walk around and give women higher metabolisms. That would be just with bread being the arch nemesis. I'm just saying, carbs, arch nemesis. Can I get?
Ma'am, if you could offer yourself, your younger self, one piece of advice, and this could be an advice for our youngest listeners, what would that advice be?
Your purpose will be untouched.
Wow, your purpose will be untouched.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
When in the book of Job, when God allowed the devil to invade Job's life, God said, you can touch everything but his life, because that had purpose and it was untouchable. And I remember when I got laid off, I was in a condo that I purchased. I ended up losing the condo. It foreclosed. I had to live with a friend for a year. My stuff was up in storage. I had to adjust my life for about a year and a half. But in the midst of all of that, my acting career was absolutely untouched. I auditioned, I was booking work, I was growing as an actor. And it was the one area of my life consistently that no matter what else was happening around me, that's an area of my life that has remained untouched. And I know my purpose is in that.
Yes, I receive all of that. I receive all.
It doesn't mean that it hasn't been hard, right? I don't want people to feel like, oh, it's always been easy. No, it hasn't always been easy, but it's always been available. It was never taken from me. It was never unavailable. It was never, it was always available to me. It was always something I could touch, I could have.
Always tangible.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that advice. And we're moving to our last few questions of this spotlight. What projects are in the future for you? Please.
Okay. So last year was a breakout year in terms of my TV and film work. So I have a list of things that I'm going to talk about. The first being, and I've mentioned this already, The Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat. And this is a film that stars Sanaa Lathan, Anjanou Ellis, and Uzo Aduba. And they play three best friends, and it really shows their friendship when they meet as teens, young teens, and it shows through the end of their life, through the course of their lives, how their friendship has grown and changed, and of course their own traumas and dramas within their own life. I play a young Anjanou Ellis's mother, and it's a phenomenal film. I think it's going to have all the feels. Electric State or Stormwind is a film that is produced by the Russo brothers. That is coming out. I filmed that last fall, or actually in the winter, in December. Looking forward to that. There is a film called The Idea of You that I shot with Anne Hathaway. That was a lot of fun. I did that last fall. There's another film called Possum Trot, which tells the story of a Black family in rural Texas who takes children that were considered hard to love, and they start fostering these kids. And it became such a success that everybody in the neighborhood, everybody in their church starts adopting all of these kids out of Houston. And it's in a place called Possum Trot, Texas. And it's a true story. And there's a film coming out that tells the story of this phenomenal couple, this pastor and his wife, who just who have a heart full of love, and they decide to love on these children who need it. And let's see, I think, and I'm currently on Gotham Nights. So that is wonderful. Tuesday nights on the CW at 9 p.m. Eastern. I play Dr. Lisa Kelly, mother to character Robin, who's played by Navia Robinson. So super excited about that.
And again, she has a Lego character.
Yes, I was a Lego. I'm super, super excited. I just thought it was just phenomenal. I mean, what a wonderful surprise. And in the meantime, if you can't see me, you're probably hearing me, because I am the female voice for Credit Karma and for all of the ads that are running currently for Peloton. And if you listen to anything on iHeartRadio, you've absolutely heard me. So.
Oh, you just everywhere, seen and unseen in these projects. So share with us, was there a good moment that you enjoyed about today's conversation?
You know, I think it's good to talk about yourself and your accomplishments. And I know that may feel a little self-indulging or narcissistic, but I think you can celebrate who you are and honor where you've come from and the steps you've taken and the path you've walked on to get where you are. And so it's nice on a Wednesday to take a moment to just sit and go, you know, I've done some good stuff. You know, I've gotten through some stuff. You know, God's been good. You know, I've been blessed. You know, I am blessed. You know what? I can speak some things that I want to do, and I'm going to speak into that future success. I think we sort of have this idea about the humble brag that I actually don't buy into. And I tell my actors this all the time, this sort of thing that you can be successful, but you can't really talk about it. You know, you want to be successful, but you have to, you know, say it in a humble way so you don't offend people's insecurities. And I don't think so. I think God has been amazing to me. God has been phenomenal to me in my life. And I ought to be screaming and shouting it from the rooftops about the goodness of God in my life. And it is reflected in how I live, in the way that I live, and how I give back to people. And I don't think that's anything that you should be ashamed to say. And I think when you have an opportunity to say, I've been blessed, I am good, I've been successful, I think it's okay to say that and to be proud of yourself in doing that. So if anything, I love that there's a space for multi-hyphenates to come in and celebrate your success, because you can't expect people to toot your own horn if you won't, right? You have to be able to have a safe space. We always talk about safe spaces. We need to have safe spaces in our friendships and our relationships, but you need to also sometimes be your own safe space. And I think that, because I think that if you live for people's praise, you will die by their criticism. And in an industry and in a world where we're constantly seeking a like, you know, and a thumbs up, you know, I think that it's okay to say, you know what? I did that and I'm proud of it and I'm proud of myself. So thank you for providing a space for to people to be confident in the pride they have for themselves and the work that they do.
Yes, you blessed me with those words. Thank you so much. And two more questions for you before we change the tune to end. Would you like to give some shout outs to those who have been supportive of you on your journey?
Absolutely. So shout out to my mom, Brunette Davis, my aunts, Shirley and Annette, my sister, Cicely Davis, who lives in Minneapolis with her husband, Cicely Davis, Ireland, to my best friends, Heather and Joy, to my Lisa, to Lisa and Raquel. Lisa's my studio manager. Raquel is my co-teacher. Raquel John, they are just amazing. To my best friends, Heather and Joy, and all my sorors, Bridget and Jennifer, it's too many to name. You've been and forgot a soror, so I don't want to name all my line sisters and my sorors. I don't want to get in trouble. They know who they are. To all the people who just continue to pour into me and support me, And to my acting coaches who have been just there for me, Michael Cole, Michael Kostroff, who have just been amazing support systems, Lucina Stonebrunner, yeah, I think I got everybody. They've just been important people that I can lean on when I need help, when I need support. And it's good to have resources when you need, because I got this role with Gotham Knights, which is the biggest role I've had of my career, because I was coached through my auditions. And so I don't take their time, their presence, or their support lightly. So for everybody who's watched a thing, liked a thing, commented on the thing that I've done, supported near and or far, thank you. I don't take it for granted.
Wonderful. And last question, how can people reach out to you to connect with you on social media? Please share all of your handles.
Yes. So acther.com, ACTHER, acther.com. For those of you interested in classes, I do have in-person classes in Atlanta, but I also do a Zoom class on Monday night. I teach actors in Texas and Detroit and New York and DC and LA and everywhere. On social media, I am Angela Michelle Davis on Facebook, and Acther Studios on Instagram, and Angela Davis Actress. On Twitter, I am Lady A. Davis.
And we will provide links which are currently in the description box so that you can easily connect with this amazing multi-hyphen. So, folks, we have come to the end of today's spotlight. If this podcast has helped you, please share. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to Dream of Drea across all social media platforms. And I'm Drea, Dream of Drea, a production company specializing in driving your ideas from pages to stages and from your dreams to screens. Remember, wherever you are, right now is the perfect time to act on your dreams. Thanks again to Angela Michelle Davis for joining us. And we will holler at y'all later. Bye, everybody.